All right, so I've modified my flower, and I've kind of blended it all together. And I've got kind of the eye portion in a way that makes sense, but now I need to make the lighting match, right? So I have light coming down onto the beak of this bird from the top and catching it, and parts of that make sense. But there are parts of the flower that I probably want to bring out a little bit more, show more light on that edge. And for that we use the dodging tool to lighten, and I'm doing it at a low exposure, about something lower than 30, about 15. I like to use a pressure sensitive for size brush at 0% hardness. That's just a little bit bigger than a pencil eraser. And I like to affect the midtones. And then I can kind of put more into the highlights on the top side of this flower, make it look like it's catching light. In a way that's similar to the way the beak is catching light. That will help a lot. And good reference can really be pushed and pulled in this way. I might decide that some things are just distracting. Like that I don't want this petal at all in the mix because it interferes with the depth of the beak. Might want to composite in a different petal in that area. And I want to encourage you to be just very creative with this and how you make it something you're interested in. It's just like drawing and painting, except you're using other people's pixels and making them do what you want. Fine-tuning it. You can see why the pressure sensitivity of the stylus is so important for getting into these tiny spaces without having to always shrink your brush. So your sketch is kind of how you introduce yourself to the issues and the difficulties of your reference. And this fun part is all the problem solving you have to do to help it all work out and work together. Now I did the highlights on the flower with the dodge tool. With the burn tool, same thing. Doing the midtones. I can put some shadows in there. So maybe like the shadows around the eye. I can deepen the flower a little bit so it feels like that's a more believable transition into this eye. And I'm not trying to create new shadows, I'm just heightening the effect of the ones that are already there. Especially to show this light source coming from above.
canvas size in order to just pile all the photos on it?
Yes, I made my overall canvas size 40 inches by 30 inches tall, but I extended it with a gray color so I could see kind of the area that I'll print versus the area where I'm building. Yeah, good question. All right. So I've got all these components. I want to leave them as separate components. And now I'm going to move this in. Let me work with the bird head part of it right there. And again, just doing big adjustments is always where you can start. Making sure the levels are maximized. So I want to bring out the color, so I'm going to just brighten the midtones a little bit there. That helps it match with the flower. Then I'm going to go to color balance. What I like to do generally is warm up the highlights just a little bit and cool down the shadows. Makes everything look a little bit more dimensional. And in the midtones here, I think I want to push it a little bit more towards the reds. So it will work with that flower. Okay, now I've got all the head parts together. Now this is really what I think is amazing about Photoshop. If I group all those layers together, so I have them stacked, at the bottom I have the head, then I have the flower, and then I have that little inset of the eye with that extra texture. Oops. Make sure you're blending and erasing from the right layer. All right, so now I'm going to cut out the bird. It's cool, it looks like he blinks. All right. And then I can actually move and transform all these layers together just by selecting them all. So even though they're not combined, I can leave them separate, but I can still transform them all. So now I just need to cut out this bird. I don't need to worry about the neck much because that's going to transition into another place. So using the magic wand, yep, not so effective. So I'm going to modify that just with my lasso tool. And here where the values are so close, try to just do it by hand. Remember, we want nice sharp edges from head to toe on our creature. And once I have the whole creature done, I can use that refine edge trick. Some more. Tricky lighting here. Being able to control your selections is really the key to making good raster images. Whether you're compositing or whether you're making them for yourself from your own ideas. And knowing that you can modify your selections by holding down Shift and Option, that helps a whole lot. You're going to end up leaving some debris, and I'll show you how we can account for that later. But do your best to do a clean selection job as you go. And don't be too willing to give up these transitions. So these feathers are kind of soft and see-through at the edge. So I don't want to lose them, even though they have a lot of that background color in them. And then if I want to soften them, I'll just erase away gently so that that softness is still there. But refining edges will be something that we talk about a lot as we're working on this. Okay. Got the top of the bird, now the bottom. You'll get quite good at the magic wand tool with this project. And it doesn't hurt to have some practice at the lasso. All right, so I've got the bird in all its forms. I might want to do some dodging and burning to that head. I'm going to dodge a little bit in the midtones here so it doesn't look so dark as I go into the next part of the body. And since the flower is not that dark, I might even dodge a little bit into the shadows and bring some of that texture out. That's so much in dark shadow down here. But I'm always doing it with a very low exposure. So that it happens gradually. Okay, so now I've got the head. I'm going to select all three layers by holding down Shift. And then I can use my Move tool. And then Command T. Hold down Shift. And I can place them right onto my sketch. Now, by doing this, I am reducing their resolution considerably. And I'm actually refining all of my selections because I made those selections with very large resolution. And so now when I reduce it, even though it's good print quality, you'll see how smooth all of those edges look. Okay. Let's save it. I've got the head where I want it. Now I've got to work that neck, get it into the torso. But we always start with the head because that gives us the direction. So we have now placed the head, and now I'm looking for the other reference that I might use for the neck. Let's see. There we go. This is a good one. All these things that are going to help me. And I love how that neck comes into the body.